Good afternoon. Welcome to the Windsor Veterans Memorial Cemetery and Wreaths Across America. We'll now have Pledge of Allegiance. If you were in the military or you're a veteran, you can salute the flag. If you never served in the military or aren't a veteran, you simply hold your hand over your heart. Present home. Ready, two.
Almighty Father, as the holy days approach us, we gather here to welcome the season. We offer our thanks to you for the freedoms we cherish. We give thanks to whomever lies here for their great ultimate sacrifice for God and country. Thanks be to God.
We'll now have the national anthem by the Windsor Fife and Drum Corps. I have to apologize. We were supposed to have a sound system, but it didn't make it here. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Great. I hope my voice holds out. We'll now have opening remarks from Jay Carmen of Carmen Funeral Homes.
I'd like to especially acknowledge State Representative Peggy Sayers, the Deputy Speaker of the House. Also, State Representative Edwin Vargas, Mayor Donald Trinks, and Councilor John Gamache and Kenny Wilkos for being here with us today. Today we'll place 7 wreaths in honor of those veterans who served in the United States Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and the Merchant Marine, and 1 wreath that is laid in honor of the 93,129 United States servicemen from all branches of service whose last known status was either prisoner of war or missing in action. These individuals have never returned to their families and homes. In 1992, Worcester Wreath of Maine found themselves with a surplus of wreaths nearing the end of the holiday season. And remembering his boyhood experience at Arlington, Morrill Worcester realized he had an opportunity to honor our country's veterans. With the help of Maine Senator Olympia Snowe, arrangements were made for the wreaths to be placed at Arlington National Cemetery in one of the older sections of the cemetery, a section which had been receiving fewer visitors with each passing year. As plans were underway, a number of other individuals and organizations stepped up. James Prout, owner of a local trucking company, Bluebird Ranch, generously provided transportation all the way to Virginia. Volunteers from the local American Legion and VFW posts gathered with members of the community to decorate each wreath with traditional red hand-tied bows, and members of the Maine State Society of Washington, D.C. helped to organize the wreath laying, which included a special ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The annual tribute went on quietly for several years, until 2005, when a photo of the stones at Arlington, adorned with wreaths and covered in snow, circulated around the internet. Suddenly, the project received national attention. Thousands of requests poured in from all over the country, from people wanting to help or simply to share their stories and thank Morrill Worcester for his honoring of our nation's heroes. Unable to donate thousands of wreaths to each state, Worcester began sending 7 wreaths to every state, 1 for each branch of the military and for POW MIAs. In 2006, with the help of the Civil Air Patrol and other civic organizations, simultaneous wreath-laying ceremonies were held at over 150 locations around the country. The Patriot Guard Riders volunteered as escort for the wreaths going to Arlington. And this began the annual Veterans Honor Parade that travels the East Coast in early December. The annual trip to Arlington and the groups of volunteers eager to participate in Worcester's simple wreath-laying event grew each year until it became clear The desire to remember and honor our country's fallen heroes was bigger than Arlington and bigger than this one company. In 2007, the Worcester family, along with veterans and other groups and individuals who had helped with their annual Christmas wreath ceremony in Arlington, formed Wreaths Across America, a nonprofit organization to continue and expand this effort and support other groups around the country who wanted to do the same. The mission of the group is simple: remember, honor, and teach. In 2008, over 300 locations held wreath-laying ceremonies in every state, Puerto Rico, and 24 overseas cemeteries. Over 100,000 wreaths were placed on veterans' graves and over 60,000 volunteers participated. December 13, 2008 was unanimously voted by the U.S. Congress as Wreaths Across America Day. And in 2010, Wreaths Across America and their national network of volunteers laid over 220,000 memorial wreaths at 545 locations in the United States and beyond. They were able to include ceremonies at the Pearl Harbor Memorial, as well as Bunker Hill, Valley Forge, and the sites of the September 11 tragedies. They accomplished this with help from 902 fundraising groups, corporate contributions, and donations of trucking, shipping, and thousands of helping hands. The wreath laying is still held annually on the second or third Saturday of December, and the annual pilgrimage from Harrington, Maine to Arlington National Cemetery has become known as the world's largest veterans parade, stopping at schools, monuments, veterans' homes, and communities all along the way to remind people how important it is to remember, honor, and teach. Wreaths Across America is committed to teaching younger generations about the value of their freedoms and the importance of honoring those who sacrificed so much to protect those freedoms. They offer learning tools, interactive media projects, and opportunities for youth groups to participate in their events. They also work to create opportunities to connect the greatest generation with the generation of hope. The inspirational stories of all our veterans must be passed on to the leaders of the future. Today we are gathered so that we too can become a part of this tradition. For the past 7 years, we are grateful to the Hispanic Veterans of Connecticut, the American Legion, and other volunteers who have run the initial wreath-laying ceremonies of these 7 wreaths. Today also, we will be able to lay these beautiful balsamic fir wreaths on the individual graves of your loved ones as well. The response we received was truly heartwarming. Many of you visited us at the funeral home and let us know who the wreath was for, and many also donated additional wreaths just to donate. Our goal is to continue to this every year and ultimately be able to have enough wreaths to cover every veteran's grave here. Saying that, if there are any that had not purchased a wreath, we do have extras here today too as well when you do after the closing of the ceremony. At this time, I'd like to ask if Representative Sayers would come forward and share a few words.
Thank you all for gathering here today as we thank our veterans who frequently were away during the holidays. The holidays is a time of year when we all want to get together with our families and friends, and yet they were often away in foreign countries fighting for our freedom. So it is with great pleasure that we come here today and honor them with this laying of wreaths as we join with other states across our nation in doing so. So thank you all so much for being here.
It's an honor for me to be here today to join all of you in paying tribute to all the men and women who sacrificed in uniform and who lie in peace here during this holiday season. I've had the opportunity to be here a few times over the years for this very same commemoration. And I think it's a tradition that will continue in this, one of the towns that vies for the title of the oldest town in Connecticut. And I believe it's a tradition we all can be proud of. I'm proud to represent the south end of the city of Hartford. I tell people, if you've been at Carbone's restaurant, then you've been in my district. It seems to be the most known landmark there. But you know, my parents came from the island of Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory, since 1898, with a proud tradition of serving in the armed forces. I come from a family of veterans. Although I'm not a veteran myself, I'm proud to be a supporting member of the Hispanic Veterans of Connecticut. And I think we have to continue this tradition of honoring all our people who have sacrificed, especially during this holiday season. So thank you for being here on this brisk but beautiful morning.
My kind of gathering, no microphone. Thank you all for coming out. For those of you that are out of town, welcome to Windsor. state of Connecticut's first town. Gotta get that in. You know, as we get older and our mortality becomes a little more clear, events like this become more and more important. We may not know everybody in here, but we know what they did and what they did for us. May not have been specific, but we know as a whole what they did. And from the greatest generation to our most recent group of veterans that we're creating, honor them in this way is the most appropriate. Thank you to the Carmen Funeral Home for all they've done. It's a beautiful location. It's not business to them, it's personal. And for the care, the maintenance, the upkeep, everything that they've done to be involved in it. Lucy and the group, thank you so much, because this is what we need to keep our memories alive, our honor alive, because as I was reading through the Wreaths of America site, it's appropriate that we're here today, but it's more appropriate that we thank a veteran every day. And absolutely, especially during the holiday season. Peggy, you said, how many veterans were not home during the season? Well, we appreciate what we have, and we owe it all to them. So thank you all for coming out this evening. Thank you for coming to Windsor.
We're now going to have the wreath laying. So the first wreath we would like to lay in memory of those who served in the United States Army. The next wreath we will lay is in memory of those who served in the United States Navy. The next wreath we will lay is in honor and memory of those in the United States Marine Corps. The United States Air Force. The next wreath we will lay in honor of the United States Coast Guard. The next wreath we will lay in honor of the United States Merchant Marine. Now we'll lay a wreath in honor of the 93,129 United States servicemen from all branches of the service whose last known status was either prisoners of war or missing in action. We shall not forget you.
Next is going to be a little loud, so if you want to block your ears, or if you have a pet with you, you might want to cover their ears so they don't bolt. But we're going to have Salute the Dead, followed by taps. Honor Guard, salute the dead.
like to invite forward for our closing remarks, Lucy Goyachea Hernandez from the Hispanic American Veterans of Connecticut.
Lucy's the one that really started this program, and we kind of got in as latecomers post 59.
It was the Daughters of the American Revolution from the Manchester branch that invited us to start back in, I want to say, 08 or 09. And Bill Crossan and Carmen's Funeral Home were kind enough to come on board and help us with the easels to lay the wreaths. I want to thank you all for coming. I'm sorry for your loss, because I know the majority of you have a veteran interred here in the cemetery today. It's an honor for us to honor all of those who give the ultimate sacrifice for us to walk freely in our hometown and anywhere in the world. I also want to thank Representatives Peggy Sayers and Representative Edwin Vargas for taking the time out, as well as Mayor Donald Trinks and Council Members Gamache and Wilkos for making it out, and each and every one of you, the American Legion Post 59 Commander Crossan, and Jay Carmen from Carmen's Funeral Home, who did so much for us. I appreciate your attendance today. Thank you for coming. One of the things we like to do is each year have those of you who have a member interred here to shout out the names. So if you'd like to do that at this time, we'd be honored to hear.
Matthew Mers,
Barry Breeding, Max Cesare,
Peter Sevenow,
Patrick Coletti,
Jack Doyle,
Ruth Luzanis,
Jim Cusick,
Jackie Gianfrido,
Arthur Gamache.
Joanne Stewart,
I want to recognize the Boy Scouts from Troop 149 and 203.
and the Windsor Fight.
The Windsor Fife and Drum Corps, certainly, and the members of the American Legion Post. The Boy Scouts are here. Will help at the close of the ceremony. We're gonna start to lay wreaths on the graves, and if anybody needs help, they're here to help. And that certainly is myself and my staff. Just come over to the table there. And if anybody needs to locate a grave, I do have the maps and everything for the cemetery. So again, thank you everyone for coming, and we appreciate the support, and hopefully we can continue to build on this for next year. Thank you.
Dear Lord, I'm completely aware that you know everyone that is standing here for this activity. What I ask you, Lord, is that you put your grace in each one of them, so they can enjoy their life in the best way that you allow them to. Lord, we were made according to your image, and I know that you are in every one of us. And you look at things not from the outside, but from the inside. And you know every one of the person that is here, because you are in every one of them. And what I'm asking you, Lord, is put the best of your blessings in every one of them. And at the same time, let them enjoy, Lord, the best holidays in this year. I ask you this in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.